Chelsea is preparing a €100 million bid for a Barça player. Pogba'S to Marseille, a new goalkeeper for Manchester United, is Mourinho returning to England? All this and much more in today's episode. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Pep Guardiola has dropped a bombshell. Manchester City is my last club. That's it. Full stop. Curtain call. Or is this just the first act of a drama titled The Maestro's Farewell? Tell me, did you feel that chill down your spine too? We're not talking about some run-of-the-mill coach from the second division, but about a man who doesn't just coach football, he creates it. He's an architect, building the game like a symphony. And now, he suddenly announces that this symphony is his swan song at the club level. I wouldn't have the strength. That's how he explains it. And yeah, folks, we saw the sparks flying from Pep's eyes when City was losing in recent matches. The tension was so thick you could light a cigarette off it. And now, this engine admits that he can no longer handle this frenetic pace, this daily battle. A national team is a different matter, he adds, as if teasing us. So, what's the deal? All these years he's been sculpting clubs into diamonds, and now he wants a national team? And here's where it gets really interesting. The ever-present rumors about Brazil immediately resurface. Brazil, Carnival, Samba. It all sounds tempting, of course, but in my opinion, Pep and Brazil are like a cucumber and a watermelon. They're both technically vegetables, but they're in completely different weight classes as I see it. They need a different coach with a different vibe, not such a perfectionist as Pep. They need a magician, not a conductor. And then it hits us. Maybe he didn't extend that contract with City for nothing. I mean, not to ride off into the sunset, leaving all this in a mess, but to leave gracefully, on a high note, so to speak. After all, when the citizens won the Champions League, that was the perfect moment to say arrivederci and become a legend. But apparently, it wasn't meant to be. That train has left the station, but no big deal. Pep is capable of catching up to it. He's a fast guy, no doubt about that. After all, City is still a machine, and he's at the wheel. And now, when Pep says he's retiring from club football, it sounds like a revelation, as if he's taken off this unbearable burden, this daily stress. And all this for what? To try his hand at the international level. England, it was whispered in the corridors of power, was also keen to get Pep. Can you imagine Guardiola at the helm of the Three Lions? That would have been something else. But it seems that's all in the past now. He's a City man, and that's forever. He's written his name in golden letters in the history of this club, and indeed of all English football. And when he talks about national teams, it sounds like a challenge to himself, like a desire to prove that he can do it all there too. And here it is, the finale of our drama. Or, rather, the prologue to the next one. Club football seems to be closing this page, but the question remains, what's next? Which national team will the Maestro choose? Will he ignite a new spark there? Or will it be a different, calmer page in his football saga? We can only guess and wait, and that, my friends, is damn interesting. Wolverhampton has decided to give Gary O'Neill another chance. Yeah, right, it feels more like a stay of execution. Only instead of a pardon, it's Ipswich Town. If the Wolves manage to stumble against a team fighting for survival, then that's it. Lights out. And you know, looming on the horizon is a figure. No, not a guardian angel. A figure far more controversial and, let's face it, much more charismatic. Jose Mourinho. Marca reports that Wolves aren't just interested, they're apparently ready to make an offer to Fenerbahce for a whopping £5 million. £5 million for a manager who just last summer signed a contract until 2026. Is this desperation talking? Or have Wolves decided it's better to spend money now than count the losses from relegation later? A bold decision, no doubt. Even audacious. Mourinho at Wolves. It sounds like the plot of a crazy football novel. The special one at a team that until recently was perceived as a solid mid-table side. It's like inviting Mozart to conduct a school orchestra. The talent is undeniable, of course, but why complicate things? Although, wait a minute. Wolves are known for their Portuguese diaspora. Players, managers. It's a whole mini Porto in the heart of England. It seems Jorge Mendes isn't just an agent there, but a grey cardinal, pulling strings behind the scenes. And who knows, maybe it's his influence that led to such shocking news. And Mourinho himself has repeatedly hinted at his desire to return to the Premier League. Unfinished business, you know. And where else can he feel like a fish in water if not in this cauldron of passion and ambition? Turkey, of course, has its own atmosphere, but English football, that's his element, his challenge. Besides, his family, as they say, still resides in London. And what could be more important for a person than the opportunity to see his loved ones more often? And then remember his recent statements about injustice in Turkish football. It seems that justice for Jose is when everyone dances to his tune. And now Wolverhampton is ready to pay big money to get this unruly genius. A risk, certainly. But what football fan doesn't love risk? After all, this isn't chess, where you calculate every move 10 steps ahead. Football is emotion, it's passion, it's unpredictability. And Mourinho is the personification of all that. It's interesting how Fenerbahce will react. Will they let go of their star in the middle of the season? Or will they start bargaining, squeezing every extra pound out of the Wolves? And what about Gary O'Neill? The poor guy is sitting on a powder keg, knowing that behind his back, they're already preparing to roll out the red carpet for someone else. The cruel world of football, no doubt. And so we sit and wonder, will the special one return to the EPL? Will he manage to save the Wolves from the impending disaster? Or is this just another loud rumor that will remain up in the air? Time will tell. But one thing is for sure, things are certainly not boring at Wolverhampton right now. What do you think? Leave your comment, share your opinion. Andre Onana hasn't even had time to settle in at Old Trafford, and already rumours of his imminent departure are swirling. Just think about it, the summer transfer window isn't even on the horizon yet, and Manchester United, according to reports in the Spanish media, have already chosen a replacement for the Cameroonian. And who might that be? Maignan from AC Milan. What a turn of events, right? So what happened? Was another long-range shot fired straight down the middle of the goal the final straw for the Red Devils management, or is this just another twist in the transfer saga, designed to stir up the fans and boost the ratings of sports publications? Onana is indeed inconsistent, sometimes producing phenomenal saves and other times letting in goals that should have been easy pickings. And now, lo and behold, Saudi Arabia is apparently licking its chops at the prospect of landing the Manchester United keeper. It makes you wonder, have they forgotten how to appreciate goalkeepers in Manchester? Now, pay attention. Here's the most interesting part. Maignan, the French shot stopper for the Rossoneri, who has already been dubbed one of the best goalkeepers in the world, has emerged on the horizon. And not just emerged, but apparently he's become the main candidate for the starting keeper spot at United. What is this if not a direct challenge to Onana? Or perhaps it's a preemptive measure to spur the Cameroonian on, to make him fight for his place in the sun. Who knows? But what do we know for sure? Maignan is indeed a top-class goalkeeper. There's no arguing with that. 6 clean sheets in 19 matches this season, a stat that deserves respect. Moreover, the guy's contract with AC Milan expires in the summer of 2026, and as they say, the Italian giants are facing a serious dilemma. On the one hand, they don't want to part with such a valuable asset, but on the other hand, the prospect of making a hefty profit from a transfer, especially from a club like Manchester United, is oh so tempting. It's a real Hamlet-esque question. To sell or not to sell? That is the question. And what about United? It seems the Red Devils are already cooking up a cunning plan to get their hands on Maignan. But the question is, do they really need him? After all, despite his flaws, Onana sometimes puts on performances that take your breath away. Or is that all just a pretty fairy tale, and the club's management has already completely lost faith in the Cameroonian? On the one hand, selling Onana after just one season, especially with his flashes of brilliance, would be, to put it mildly, unwise. But on the other hand, Maignan, this ideal profile to replace inconsistency, is alluring with his reliability and skill. Well, we'll just have to wait and see how this transfer epic ends. What do you think? Should United be trading one problem for another, or will Onana still show everyone what he's capable of? Share your thoughts in the comments, let us know your opinion. Paul Pogba, the very same guy who once tore up the turf at Old Trafford and beyond, is rumoured to be on the verge of donning the Olympique de Marseille jersey. What do you think of that, eh? Not Real Madrid, not Barcelona, not even Bayern Munich, it's Marseille. Remember how he was linked to PSG and Manchester United recently? And then, bam! Right in the gut, as they say. RMC Sport is shouting from the rooftops that the deal is practically in the bag. maybe while we're sitting here sipping our tea, he's already on a plane, taking selfies with a Marseille scarf. The details of the contract are still shrouded in mystery, but something tells me it'll be something along the lines of 2 + 1 or a straight 3 years. Classic stuff, honestly, but the fact that Marseille wants to snag Pogba is not news. They say there were talks before, but back then, he still believed in Juventus, that everything would work out, that he would show what he's worth. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. Now, Pogba is a free agent, his hands are untied. And here's where it gets really interesting. Marseille isn't some fly-by-night club, they're a team with real ambition. They're fighting for a Champions League spot, breathing down PSG's neck. So, why not, right? Plus, they're building a bit of a bad boy club over there, and Paul would certainly fit right in. Although, honestly, I wouldn't say he's that much of a bad boy. Okay, he got into some trouble, who hasn't? But for many, he seems to be persona non grata. And yet, not so long ago, everyone was expecting his return to the top level. But let's be frank, even before all this mess, his game wasn't exactly sparkling with its former brilliance. And most likely potential employers noticed that too. Being a free agent is a plus, of course, and Pogba'S demands have probably decreased, but it seems it wasn't in the cards. He has to choose from teams of a lower caliber. And in that sense, Marseille is perhaps the best option of all possible. Something tells me that even the club president has been waiting for him. According to RMC Sport, Pogba is almost a favorite of club owner Frank McCourt. Now that's a twist. You've got the club's ambitions, personal sympathies, everything's lining up. And let's not forget that an old acquaintance awaits him in Marseille, Mason Greenwood. Now that's going to be a reunion. Admittedly, Paul himself is keeping quiet, not commenting on all these rumors. Maybe he's sitting there thinking, where should I go? Saudi Arabia? The States? There are plenty of options, it must be said. But as I see it, Marseille is just what the doctor ordered. A chance to reboot, to prove he's not washed up, that he still has some fire left in him. Or maybe just to play out his career, as they say, for the love of the game. Anyway folks, this is shaping up to be a very intriguing story. Pogba at Marseille, it's at least curious. What do you think? How do you like this potential transfer? Can Paul regain his former form? Will this gamble pay off, or is it all just a big nothing burger? Write your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share your opinions. Let's discuss, because the most interesting part is yet to come, right? Here we go again, it's Chelsea, and it's about Raphinha again. It's like they haven't learned from their past mistakes. Is Todd Boehly so obsessed with the Brazilian that he's willing to shell out a fortune, a whopping 100 million euros? Yes, you heard right. That's the figure Barcelona is reportedly putting on their, without exaggeration, star player. And you can see why they'd ask for that much. Raphinha, the magician with the ball, is experiencing a renaissance. Remember how he didn't immediately settle in Catalonia? Some were quick to write him off, calling him another transfer flop. But the guy has silenced the doubters. 16 goals, 8 assists. Those are impressive stats. He's practically carrying Blaugrana on his shoulders. This season is his show, his moment in the spotlight. He plays with such passion, such dedication, it's inspiring. And the captain's armband, which he rightly earned, is a testament to that. And now, amidst this incredible form, Chelsea is looming on the horizon again. Boehly, the football spendthrift, is ready to make a huge splash in the transfer market. And just recently, Arsenal was also after Raphinha. The Gunners weren't shy either, offering 90 million. But you know what? Now that Raphinha has become a true monster, a player capable of single-handedly deciding the outcome of matches, those sums seem almost laughable. Yes, Barcelona's financial situation is far from rosy. The club is deep in debt, and they need money like they need air. But selling Raphinha, that would be like ripping the heart out of their chest. He's the soul of the team, its driving force. It's simply disrespectful to a player who has blossomed at Barça. He fits perfectly into any tactical setup now, whether on the right wing or in the centre. His technique, speed and goal-scoring instinct are all top-notch. He's become a true leader of the team. And how is he performing under Hansi Flick? I'm sure the coach values his talent and commitment. Honestly, I have a hard time picturing him in a blue shirt. Chelsea right now is a bit of a mess. A disorganized collection of stars that can't seem to come together as a team. Where would Raphinha even fit in? Who would he replace? Palmer? And it wouldn't be easy for him at Arsenal either. The Gunners already have plenty of players on the left and in the centre. Jesus, Martinelli. No, Raphinha is a player who needs to be a leader, not just a cog in the system. Barcelona, it seems, understands this. They're certainly shrewd, but even they wouldn't cut off the branch they're sitting on. 100 million is, of course, an astronomical figure, but it's closer to the truth than the measly 85 that Chelsea is reportedly willing to offer. Barça hasn't just put a price tag on him. They've made it clear, we won't even talk for less than 100. But football is a business, and in business, anything is possible. Imagine, summer, the transfer window, the last few days, and suddenly, a sensation. Barça, under pressure from financial problems, gives in. Or Boli, in a moment of madness, raises the stakes. Who knows? The offer from the Blues isn't that ridiculous compared to what the Catalans are asking for. Will this be a story about loyalty to club colours or the triumph of big money? What do you think? Would you like to see Raphinha in the Premier League? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's debate. It seems like Arsenal is once again extending its tentacles towards West Ham. This time, the target is Mohamed Kudus. Yes, that very same Guinean gem who just donned the claret and blue of the Hammers this summer. After Arsenal snatched Declan Rice from them for a record 105 million, and he, admittedly, has been playing like a god, Arteta's appetite has apparently grown considerably. Now it's Kudus, a versatile attacking soldier capable of covering the wing, the false nine role, and even dropping into midfield if needed. The price tag? Hold on tight, £80 million sterling. Not bad, huh? But Arsenal believes the guy is worth every penny. With him, Arteta will get tactical flexibility that even Pep Guardiola could only dream of. From West Ham's perspective, selling Kudus is like shooting themselves in the foot, or rather, the hammer. The 23-year-old is one of the main bright spots in their, frankly, not-so-bright season. Losing such a player mid-season is a blow below the belt that could completely destabilize the team. But, rumour has it, it's not about sporting ambitions, but about plain old finances. The Hammers want to strengthen, especially in defence and midfield, and the Premier League's financial fair play rules, are always watching. They need cash, and preferably a lot of it. So it turns out that by selling Kudus for 80 million, they can patch up the holes in their squad. The only price is losing their main star. And what about Arsenal? This potential transfer is a loud statement that they are serious this season. Arteta's team sometimes plays such breathtaking football, but they still lack consistency. Kudus is that very spark, that very detonator, capable of blowing up the concrete defences of opponents and adding fuel to their title chase. The timing of the transfer is also no coincidence. The club's management is clearly targeting players in their prime, as was the case with Rice. Kudus fits perfectly into this strategy. Technically gifted, works like a horse, and is also a perfect fit for Arteta's high-energy football. Another thing is that snatching Kudus will be, so difficult. West Ham is unlikely to give up without a fight, and competition from other top clubs will certainly be fierce. And then there's those 80 million in January. Won't fans and experts have a reasonable question, aren't we overpaying? Arsenal already has a killer attack. Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, they're all on fire. Do they really need another spearhead, especially for that kind of money? Maybe it would be better to strengthen the defense or buy another defensive midfielder to pair with Rice. As you can see, there are tons of questions. And for West Ham, it's like déjà vu all over again. They just got over Rice's departure, and here we go. Arsenal is at the door again. Yes, they can reinvest the money, strengthen the squad, but the fans might not understand. After all, selling Kudus will only strengthen West Ham's reputation as a feeder club, a supplier of talent for the big boys, and what about their own ambitions? In short, my friends, the situation is mind-blowing. Arsenal, by aiming for Kudus, is clearly going all in. But will this risk pay off, or will 80 million be thrown to the wind and West Ham will only get stronger? Will it be a transfer masterpiece or an epic fail? Only time will tell. Well, Catalans, are we back at it again? Barcelona is once again at the centre of a financial storm, and this time, Dani Olmo is the one at risk. Have you heard? The guy, who they shelled out £51 million for in the summer, could leave in the winter. For free. Absurd, you say? No, my friends, this is the reality of modern-day Barça. So, let's break it down. Olmo, this damn talented attacking midfielder, was a breath of fresh air from the start. He came, he saw, he scored. 5 goals in 9 La Liga matches, especially when you have a history of injuries. Flick seems to have found his muse in him, a player capable of orchestrating the attack. And then, bam, like a bolt from the blue, Olmo is only registered until the end of December. Just think about it. A club that was once swimming in luxury is now forced to count every Eurocent, registering players for 6 months like some kind of interns. What's going on in the heads of Laporta and company? Where's the money? Joan. It turns out there's a tricky clause in Olmo's contract, a kind of time bomb planted at the last minute. If Barça can't find the money to register him, adios amigo, he becomes a free agent. Free! Half of Europe was fighting for him this summer, and now, here he is on a silver platter. Take him, whoever wants him. And what's most frustrating is that Olmo is one of their own, a La Masia graduate. He, as they say, literally dreamed of returning to his home, fought for this shirt for years. Pau Victor, by the way, is also trapped in this same financial predicament. And you can't say that these guys aren't giving it their all. Olmo, despite all these underhanded games, is tearing it up on the pitch, carrying the team. Peace of mind and football is how, according to insiders, he describes his state of mind. What else is there to do? Just play and hope. Believe in a miracle, in a fairy tale solution to the problems. Meanwhile, the Blaugrana management is frantically trying to patch up the financial holes. Selling VIP boxes at the renovated Camp Nou? Seriously? 20-year obligations to register first-team players? This isn't even funny anymore. It's desperation. They say a saving grace agreement with Nike is on the horizon, promising Barça a golden shower, so to speak. But will it be enough to return to the notorious 1-to-1 rule of FFP? To finally breathe normally in the transfer market? That, as they say, is a rhetorical question. And for now, Dani Olmo, this symbol of hope for Catalan fans, is in limbo. He's like a ship that has left the harbor but doesn't know where to sail. His course depends not on the captain, but on how much gold they find in the hold. And the irony is that he himself is that gold, a pure nugget that Barcelona could lose due to its own short-sightedness. So, Culé, what do you think? Will the club manage to climb out of this financial quagmire? Will the club keep Olmo? Or will he, like many other talents, become a victim of incompetence and greed? Write, share your thoughts. The situation, frankly, is tense, and the fate of not only Olmo but also the future of Barcelona depends on its outcome. And that future, my friends, looks rather hazy at the moment.